Even the sphere projector couldn't locate us because we're a part of this illusion as much as anything else. This location is a part of this illusion as much as anything else. It doesn't exist at all.
On this episode of Old Joe's Reminiscence, said to be the greatest mind in the universe, can the mysterious force known as Magnus recreate a bridge officer from stored computer data and save the Ark and all of its inhabitants from almost certain doom? Angel Tompkins guest stars. This episode originally aired on CTV on November 17th, 1973. I really don't remember anything about this one, and I certainly don't remember seeing Angel Tompkins on the show at all, so I might have missed this episode. My family may have gone out that Saturday evening, or maybe I've just nearly forgotten, seeing it's 50 years ago. Whatever the reason, if you haven't seen this episode, I'm going to suggest that you pause right here and watch it before continuing, because we may become mesmerized by the Gallery of Fear. The first thing that struck me as the episode opened was that our three main characters are back in their old Cypress Corners garb. They appear to be headed somewhere with haste when a sudden dust storm kicks up in the tunnel and pushes them back. They make it to a portal and they escape the strong winds. Then they find themselves in a strange place with odd flashing lights and abstract art everywhere. I'm guessing it's some sort of an art gallery. Devon was able to walk right by that one display, but Rachel and then Garth both become fixated on it. Parts of the thing start to glow, flashing different colors, and then the leaves disappear altogether. This kind of disappearing effect has been done with much better results by Bewitched, I Dream of Jeannie, and many other television shows over the years. But this is the second time in as many episodes that objects, people, or the camera have moved during such an effect. Devon touches something that I figured would have been electrified. Nothing seems to happen. Did I miss something, or did they forget to add a special effect here? Then I was baffled as he proclaimed,
It's almost as if they were alive.
He notices that Garth and Rachel are stupefied. He approaches them and says,
Garth? Rachel? Garth? You're acting as though you were hypnotized.
What happened to it?
I saw it.
You saw what?
A feminine voice startles him.
A coalescent mass held in stasis by the mind that created it.
She is the lovely and talented Angel Tompkins. Now, if you've watched my channel for a very long time, you will recognize Miss Tompkins as the actress who'd played the probe-in-training Gloria Harding on a few episodes of the Search TV series starring Hugh O'Brien and Burgess Meredith just a year earlier.
Angel Tompkins was born Angeline Bernice Stromberg in December of 1942 in California. While working as a model in Chicago in the 1960s, she was discovered by filmmaker Woody Allen. She was featured in a pictorial titled Angel in the February 1972 edition of Playboy magazine. That coincided with Angel's appearance as telemetry technician Gloria Harding in the television pilot Probe. She later signed on to continue that role in the 1972 television series, which was renamed Search. Unfortunately, she only appeared in 2 episodes of the series before disappearing from the show. The Golden Globe nominee was typically hired to play blonde bombshells in the 1970s and 80s. She married television writer Ted Lang in 1985. Together they have 2 children. A longtime Screen Actors Guild board member, Miss Tompkins made an unsuccessful run for president of the Guild in 1999. Angel Tompkins is 81 years old.
Why is Rachel so in awe of Angel? Or should I be asking, why aren't Devon and Garth mesmerized by her?
These statues, what happened to them?
Beauty doesn't exist in fear. You changed it.
But things don't just disappear.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you suggesting that we change? How could we possibly do that?
Beauty is as insubstantial as bubbles in the wind. Some things just vanish.
Yeah, like she vanished from Search. It's obvious that several of those episodes had been written for her, and they'd been filled by another agent. But I digress. Angel wants them to rest and eat, and then they'll talk. As they're leaving the room, Rachel is distracted. It's that piece of art that Devon had touched. Now it's glowing and shimmering for Rachel.
Don't disturb her.
Angel explains what happened.
The hall is on a total scan by a psychogenic reader. The psycho-emotional vibrations of the artist are translated by the reader into light energy and coalesced into mass, which will remain constant until a new psycho-emotional vibration cancels it. Should no one ever go there again, your sculpture will remain there for eternity.
Then I really did it.
Magnus says that everyone is a poet. Then why not a sculptor?
Who's Magnus?
Magnus? You'll learn about him. Come, they'll be ready for you now.
She leads them to their rooms. I guess they must have introduced themselves off camera because she knows each of them by their names. And she has rooms assigned to each of them.
1, 2, 3. Just the right number. It's almost as though you were expecting.
She did say some things just vanish. Devon finds himself all alone in the hallway. I started to wonder if Garth and Rachel had also disappeared, but on a second review of the scene, I seemed to notice a faint sound of a sliding door in the background. Anyway, they cut to Rachel in her nicely furnished room. There's what looks to be a uniform laid out on the bed for her. Meanwhile, Devon seems to have decided to change into a similar uniform that had been left for him. He goes to find a sphere projector.
Can I be of assistance?
Where am I?
Your location is Sphere Projector Omega Pi.
This is a gallery. It's got paintings and sculptures.
Your information does not register.
Who is Magnus?
Magnus is the...
Well, that was helpful. They never did explain those numbers flashing sideways on the walls, did they? Back to Rachel. She looks nice in her new outfit. It's an improvement over Cypress Corners, but not as flattering as her spacesuit was. Sitting before a mirror to brush her long, flowing hair, she sees her mother in the mirror's reflection.
Mother. Mother, what are you doing here?
Aileen Seton is making a return appearance as Rachel's mother. It's a role she'd introduced in the very first episode, Voyage of Discovery. Cut to Devon and Garth making a dramatic entrance in their matching uniforms. Are those on loan from another sci-fi production? Or something I'd missed from earlier in the series, perhaps? They have some sort of a pouch on their belts that seems very odd to me and is never addressed.
I'm sorry I wasn't here to receive you.
Well, you wanted to talk. How about now?
Wouldn't you rather eat first? You've never tasted food like this before, I promise you.
I've never seen statues that change before, or people that appear and disappear before my eyes before either.
Devon isn't very trusting here. In fact, he's on the verge of being downright rude. He asks about Magnus again. He seems overly fixated on Magnus. For all he knows, Magnus could have been an ancient philosopher she'd mentioned. But we discover that he's...
Perhaps the most profound mind in all the Ark? No, not perhaps. He is the most profound mind.
Garth has been unusually quiet during this scene. Did the scriptwriters forget that they had him in the room? Rachel enters, and she looks pissed. And when I say that, I'm using it in the American vernacular to mean angry, not to indicate drunk as it's used by my friends across the pond. She mutely takes a seat at the table beside silent Garth. Devon grills Miss Tompkins some more. Are they ever going to give their guest star a name on this episode? She gives Garth a look, and he reacts as if he's seen a ghost.
Father. It's my father.
When we come back in Act 2, Devon denounces the vision of Garth's father as an illusion, but Garth and Rachel are convinced that the man is real. Real or not, Garth's father is played by returning actor Jim Barron, who had also appeared as Garth's father in the original Voyage of Discovery episode. Devon turns to where Angel had been seated just a moment ago, and he begins to say,
Daphne.
So, without her ever mentioning it, Devon knows that her name is Daphne. Devon tries to reason with Rachel, but she seems to be brainwashed.
Rachel, listen to me. No, this is real. It's all been created by those psychogenic readers.
Of course it's real, Devon. Can't you see him? Don't you hear him?
He confronts the representation of Garth's father, and after a brief back-and-forth dialogue, the man's image disappears.
You have no existence outside of whatever or whoever dreamt you up.
Devon wants to leave, but Rachel and Garth are both content to stay there. While Garth and Rachel go off to stare at the art, Devon runs around yelling at the top of his lungs.
Magnus!
When he returns to the dining area, Daphne is seated back at the table. She tells him that all his shouting is having no effect.
Devin, if you don't cooperate, things can be very unpleasant for you.
You release Rachel and Garth from whatever influence you have over them.
I
outside.
have no influence over them.
Then get Magnus to do it.
There's no one here that tells Magnus what to do.
Then I'm going to tear this place apart piece by piece until I find him.
Devin goes back to the gallery and tries talking to Garth.
Garth? Garth. It's me, Devin.
When talking has no effect, Devin slaps Garth across the face and gut punches him.
I'll kill you! You're right. Good, you're right. I'm sorry I had to do that. Did you have to hit me so hard?
Surely he's not going to work her over the way he did Garth.
Rachel,
Leave me alone. I hate you.
Devin and Garth agree that they have to get out of there. Then Daphne shows up again. She says that she's underestimated Devin. Then the camera pushes in for a close-up as she says,
Don't underestimate Magnus.
the wind starts to blow again. Or does it? Devin has it all figured out. It's just another illusion.
look at her. Look at her. Doesn't even touch her. Doesn't bother her. Because none of it's real. She's thinking it. Come on, Rachel. Come on, open your eyes.
The wind continues to blow around our heroes in Act 3.
Come on, Rachel. Come on, open your eyes. Wake up, Rachel. Don't let them fool you. Garth? Garth. Everything that's happened to us, everything has been caused by something. Someone. By Daphne. Look at her. Look at her. Why isn't she affected by the wind like we are?
This causes Devin to get a little too cocky. His overconfidence has him believing that he has the upper hand.
Well, it's all over, Daphne. There's nothing you can do. We can go anytime we want to, because we're nowhere.
Then Magnus speaks.
I am Magnus.
We hear you. We don't see you. Who are you? And where are you?
Magnus. Magnus is here. All around you.
Canadian actor and voiceover artist Alan Coates provides the menacing voice of Magnus in the first of his many television productions. His voice echoes around the chamber, spewing more than 15 seconds of technobabble that leads to the eventual conclusion that Devin has an unusual personality. I could have told him that. Devin says that he can hear Magnus, but he cannot see him, and he asks where Magnus is.
You are in Magnus.
The group of three is engulfed in some sort of an energy field, and they go on a psychedelic trip that reminds me of a Jefferson Airplane video. Magnus gives us another full 20 seconds of babble that leads Devin to the conclusion that Magnus is only a computer.
You're just a machine. Just like the sphere projector. Bigger, more complex maybe, but with the same kind of electrical currents, memory banks, and circuits. Even your voice is made up of electrical impulses to spew out all the information that was programmed into you.
Because growing up in Cypress Corners makes Devon a computer genius. Through some dialogue that was quite difficult to follow, we find that Magnus was a computer that was originally built as a tool to assist the ARC commanders.
You recreate people as they were from information stored in your tapes, as well as reading the impulses from our brains.
I am able.
Devon surmises that Magnus creates people from memories, like Garth and Rachel's parents. Therefore, he should be able to recreate the bridge crew.
Then you could recreate the commander of the Ark. You could ask his help. Get back on course, start up the reactors again.
I am unable.
Daphne can't do anything. She's just a previously stored memory illusion.
If it's that simple, why don't you get Daphne to do it?
Daphne, old illusion, similar statuary, different kind, only from recreation. Garth, father, Rachel, mother, previously created.
Devon goes to the sphere projector and he asks William Osler who can program the Ark's computers.
Can I be of assistance?
Information regarding programming into computers. Who does it?
Computer programming, normal usage, programmer's rank, major and above.
Then Magnus begins a dialogue with the stubborn sphere projector.
Magnus name well known to all ARC computer banks. No information is given regarding inquiries from casual sources, only to officers of ARC possessing secret code.
Sphere projector, lying, improperly programmed, deal with Magnus inquiries.
Rachel seems to find this amusing.
They're arguing with each other.
You can go to the devil, Magnus.
The three try to leave the gallery. They walk through a portal into a chamber full of flashing lights and psychedelic visualizations. They mime an invisible shield closing in on them until Devon convinces the others that it's not really happening. They end up back in the room with the Magnus screen. Devon grabs Rachel's shoulders and says,
Rachel, we gotta get out of here.
They turn and Garth suddenly sees Devon as some kind of a monster.
Get away from me, Rachel.
That's Danny Hodgkins in his only recorded acting role. I guess it was cheaper and less time-consuming to have someone already made up and ready to step in for Devon for just that one scene, rather than to delay shooting while they waited for Keir Dullea to be made up to play the monster. Garth attacks that monster while Rachel attempts to stop him.
Garth!
Get away!
I guess she still sees Devon as he truly is. It's only Garth who sees the illusion of the mutant form. In Act 4, Garth continues to struggle with the mutant Devon.
Stop them!
Devon, the real Devon, knocks Garth out with a karate chop to the neck. That always works on television. Devon has had enough. Once again, he says they're out of there. But Magnus has one more trick up his proverbial sleeve. Magnus claims to be able to recreate Admiral George Austin, who was the first officer of the Ark. But first,
You required reprogram Magnus for playback departure log information.
Magnus and Daphne are desperate for Devon to enter a code. even though the main computer warns against it.
Prime directive deletion activated. Confirm Admiral rank authority before proceeding.
Daphne promises that once he inputs the code, not only can he hear Magnus, but he'll see him. So, Devon and Magnus are in a standoff. Magnus won't produce the Admiral until Devon completes the required programming, and Devon won't complete the programming until Magnus produces the Admiral. Devon wins this argument, and William Clune appears as Admiral Austin in his only credited on-screen performance.
Are you Admiral Austin?
Yes? What is it you want from me?
He had gone uncredited, portraying Franklin Gowan in the 1970 Sean Connery film, The Molly Maguires.
Then I can't help you. I'm only a visualization of information stored during my lifetime.
He says that Magnus had malfunctioned from the very beginning. He schemed to get rid of them.
Stop him!
Oops. Magnus interferes to stop the Admiral from warning Devon about how dangerous the computer system is. Devon decides that he's not going to complete the coding.
Magnus, we've beaten you!
As the Starlost 3 attempt to destroy the control panel, Daphne warns them to get out.
You'd better leave this area, all of you. Get out!
She doesn't want them to destroy Magnus, the greatest mind in the universe.
He may be even the greatest thinker of them all, but he's a machine.
Garth suggests making a deal with Magnus.
Garth, you can't make a deal with a machine.
Garth slides open an access panel, and lo and behold, there are a bunch of colorful stick thingies in there. I guess they're memory conduits or something. Anyway, they pull most of those out, and Magnus shuts down. Then they find themselves alone on the empty set and back in their original clothing. So it was all an illusion. They run to the nearest portal, but oddly it won't open. Now what? Does Magnus still have some control over them? The sound and lights seem to suggest it. And that's exactly what they want us to believe, I guess, because Devon tries his key a few more times until the portal eventually opens and they run through to the relative safety of the tunnel. Their respite is brief, however. They're quickly confronted by another sentient computer, one of the many that are similar to Magnus, the computer they've just destroyed. Magnus was the most powerful of all the computers on the Ark, and this one is quite displeased. Uh-oh! And they just leave us hanging. I'm wondering if this threat will come up again, or if we're just going to forget about it and go forward. There are only 7 more episodes to go, so I guess I'll have to watch the rest and see what happens. Other than it being a little slow-moving certain times, and the not-so-special special effects, I really liked this episode. The appearance of Angel Tompkins was also a big plus in my estimation. But I'm crushing on her as if I'm still a 14-year-old adolescent. I'm half tempted to locate a copy of that Playboy edition from February 1972, just to see more of my Angel. I do have a birthday coming up. But I think my wife might be jealous if she saw it. And besides, I think I'd rather spend what little money I have left coming in a little bit more wisely as I head into retirement in a few weeks. I'm saving up to order a few more DVDs to review in the future. Well, as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and be sure to join me again as I continue to watch and reminisce about the Starlost.